single government that's got in over the years stick to the word they said they're going to do.
Are you interested in politics? Do you follow politics?
I follow it a little bit, not a lot. I used to like it, listening to it.
There's a sea.
KMFM. Forget supply and
6 months down the road, they don't do any of it, they go the other way. So why would I vote? There's many people out there who will not vote. I know loads of them don't vote for the same reason.
So it's not about political parties for you. It's not like you wouldn't vote for this party or you would vote for that party. That doesn't make a difference.
They always say, right, we're going to hold working man. They never do. They just make it worse.
When I visit Probe that Wednesday afternoon, the office is busy. Steve Alcock is at the helm. He's been running the place for 20 years. What's this area like? What is this community like?
It's okay, isn't it, I think? I mean, it's always got a good press, a good cross-section of people. It's good. Thank you. Not really. It was a really stronghold for a long time when we were there. So I think there's maybe some complacency about, whether the need to change will it make any difference.
At the last general election, all the seats in poll were won by Labour. The city council is held by the Liberal Democrats.
And even Southern Road is a £50 million investment to new beautiful communities. Preston Road, yeah. But, in terms of community involvement with politics, I've changed it. We've had money from the government, we've had new funding, currently getting some level of funding for some similar services right now. But I don't think people connect that to politics.
Steve wanted me to meet another of his clients.
I'm Carl. I lived back in Olsen, the late 80s.
Do you remember that moment when you decided you weren't going to vote anymore?
Yes, it was just seeing them on TV and the House of the Commons for the first time. And the place was full. House of the Commons was full, not a seat was full, not even standing room with people, MPs and so on hanging out the door. And they were all shouting over each other and not letting the people speak. Listening to what one MP had to say to another MP. And I was sat there thinking, well, why don't you listen to what each other is saying? And then, ask your questions about you really want to know about what that MP just said, whether you agree with it or not. So that put me off there.
When was that roughly? How many years ago?
Good 10 years ago.
Is that what you're quite interested in politics there?
I used to be. Very much. That was because of my upbringing.
Tell me about your upbringing. What made you? Why did that make you interested in politics?
Because my dad, firstly saw, and my mother, they used to have us watching news all the time. My father left us home. He used to say, you don't vote, you've got no right to have a say. So we used to go all the time.
When you told your dad that time that you hadn't voted,
Zero.
what did he say?
Zero.
Didn't he?
Oh no. Wasn't very happy at all. You've got to vote, you have to vote. It's your duty to vote. So the first time I ever voted, my dad had said, well, why not? Because the car industry, what we used to have, British Leyland and so on, gone. Coal mining, gone. Fishing industry, gone. And that's all because of politics.
What about what your dad said, which is if you don't vote, you can't complain, or what some people might say, particularly some politicians, I guess, if you don't vote, you can't change things.
I believe even if we vote, we still can't change things.
Overhead Lembon, left orbit, left, leave Lembon, heading 210
To get these inklings into the head, you're going to make something better. And it doesn't happen.
So Carl's dad and Paul's mum tried to instill in their sons the idea of a duty to vote, and both have grappled with that before consciously deciding there's no point. But that doesn't mean they don't take an interest in politics. They've just reached the conclusion, based on their own experience, that politicians, MPs, don't do much for them. A recent report by the electoral expert Sir John Curtis for the National Centre for Social Research suggested voter confidence.
Go when Kingsbury Bridge is closed. Please plan it.
Democracy.
Well before Sydney Greater Meet, it's a city where, who's had people produce great artists like, Philip Larkin as well. This is a great city, very rugby league.
This is Dr. Matt Beach, Director of the Centre for British Politics at the University of Hull. He's taught in Hull for 18 years.
And can you describe where we are? We're in the Hull History Centre, which is on Worship Street in Hull, and it's a partnership between the University of Hull, where it's archivists, and the City of Hull Council.
Matt really understands the political geography of Hull.
Hull is unique in the sense, in one sense, I guess, that it has 3 parliamentary constituencies, and one of the arguments is perhaps we should really only need 2, Hull West and Hull East. So we have Hull West in Hessel. Hull West is very affluent, and then parts of it come right into the city, so parts of it is the kind of point of it is in the centre, and that's split to 5. West Hull, affluent, suburbs, academics and business people often get favourite in national conversation. But Hull West is very, very different, say, from Hull East, which is much poorer historically, very, very deprived, post-industrial. And then Hull North has the universities, lots of students, lots of internationals, so the cosmopolitan place. Also, you don't have to go very far north of the university, about half a mile, and you get a very large council estate with very high levels of crime and high levels of high schools and industries of deprivation. And so it's a mix, it really is a mixed picture, to be perfectly frank, as you would expect from, I think, it's a city in England.
We'll come back to Matt in a bit, but that east-west divide he describes, it's a divide with a physical boundary, the River Hull slicing through the city. Martin, a cab driver from East Hull, describes it like this.
There's a massive divide in the city. East is east and west is west. And never bridge. So this river was put there by for a reason to keep on feeding west.
Pardon me. What do I think about the Brian Ralph interview?
Hessel at the western end of the constituency. It's connected to Hull by the Hessel Road. It's pretty. It has the feel of a town, somehow separate from the
Just goes to show, to be honest with you, he's very believable. I think he's probably the only one telling the truth. No, not fishing. Just
Hessel's community centre.
there's my house right behind me. Yeah.
Barbara and John, Audrey, Anne, and John and Nita.
We are a separate community from Hull.
Yeah, I see that. I think with the case, there's something big sort of around the corner, but what that is, I don't know. But to be honest, it's pointless now. All the time's been done, do you know what I mean? The lives are gone. I've no doubt that the 2 men that went to prison did it. Where am I from? I'm from England, the southeast of England. About 30 miles from Dover and about 35 miles from London.
The whole of whole west side is given over to fishing. They live, eat, sleep and
It's getting nice and warm now here. Summer's arrived. Am I homeless? No, Edgar, I'm not. My home is there, look, behind me. You see that there?
I do think really that the type of men that work in
That's my home.
normal bread,
I've lived there 52 years.
otherwise they wouldn't stick it. I have seen in the work
I'm just in my tent because it's a bit cooler out here.
standing there,
Um,
open trays of running water,
saying that, guys, next week, obviously,
actually
you've seen me camo army tents. But next week I'm getting another one, a bigger tent.
Which used to be right at the very heart of the fishing industry here. In fact, loads of the trawler men used to live around here in those of terraced houses that headed down towards the docks. But now when you come here, there is still a big mural on
What am I doing? Just camping.
that industry.
Just
Now though, as you walk around, it's really just, I mean, a
It's
whole load of different shops.
a bit warm in there. Yeah, just chilling, exactly.
You've got a lot of kebab shops, there's a dance shop, a carpet shop.
You've hit the nail on the head.
And a lot of them have boarded up and
There's a nice breeze coming in here, but if you go in the house, it's too stuffy.
It has always been a busy place for the cow community. But it always is
Plus, you can just ping open the doors.
and they're not just marked by
But
the
yeah, I've got 2 tents here.
from the University of Hull, they circulate
2 army tents, but then next week I'm going to have a 3rd tent.
and contributed to a sense of
Um,
political
I've got a lot of junk, technology and stuff that I take camping, so I really need a two-man tent or a 3-man tent.
cities where there are wards which score very highly in terms of indices of deprivation are much
I think the one I'm getting is
if you were to
it's
say,
either a
okay,
2-man or a 3-man
so what about
with a porchway.
particular story in the particular
Um,
case? I think that's much more complex. The contingent history of the city, certainly, if you go back to the immediate post-war and the lack of money,
Joys of living in the countryside.
in the early 1970s with the Cod Wars and
Cod Wars.
absolutely central fishing port. So when
No, I haven't, no.
because of the Cod Wars, that would be another data point in terms of a sense of being left out.
It's important to say there has been significant investment in Hull in recent years. The City of Culture in 2017, sizable investment in renewables on the docks.
What bad flavours? What weed?
Salton is part of the psyche of the city.
I like the fruity stuff myself.
F&D College, some fantastic companies in City of Culture. But I think those kind of things become ingrained, and there's a
That's what you was on about.
the geography of the city, but at the end of, perhaps the motorway, when you're at the end of the M62, or there is that sense perhaps of being slightly away from politics and power and decision making.
I suppose the one thing is that there are other places which have had big industrial decline, which are geographically not so quite far removed from Westminster, where there is real poverty, and comparatively they might have quite low turnout too, but it just seems consistently Hull has among the lowest turnout. I wonder if there's something cultural as well.
Let's scan through, I think. Oh, wow.
Of not
Strongest E's. Oh, I've done them all, Tucker. All from Essex, all coming out of Essex as well. Obviously, living across the water from Essex, back in the day, we used to get all of that stuff coming into Kent. Strongest I've done, probably pink caddies are pretty full on. M25s, snowballs, speckled doves, speckled hens, white doves, yellow dove. Done them all. Yeah.
Robert Lopez wrote for the stage adaptation of Frozen. And across town, there's a really big night at the
Dennis the
Covent
Menaces.
Theatre tomorrow. The West
Rhubarb
End
and
Playhouse
custards,
in
they were
Piccadilly
good.
Circus, which is notable for being almost entirely underground, is celebrating its 150th anniversary.
Get the pills
A
out.
special gala. It's going to be an evening of memories, scenes and songs hosted by Stephen Fry. And it aims to raise funds
Back in the
for
day when they were
extension
good.
of the ticket scheme that gives 150 tickets a week free to 12 to 21-year-olds for shows that are on at the Criterion. So I should think.
Boring.
Best Yorkshire puddings. Oh, Calvin Harris is that finally.
They used to prepare me with 4 bells navy rum.
What's my opinion on the general election?
Oh, yeah.
Tell me about your views on politics.
I'm looking forward to the Tories
Politics.
leaving.
Sandra always used to vote.
The way the media, well, the way it's shaping out, it's going to be a complete whitewash. Goodbye the Tories. Good riddance. I've never voted for Conservatives in my life. And to be honest, they've had 14 years, haven't
What
they?
do you think that is?
14 years of
A lot of
messing it
has to
up.
do with Brexit. Because we was promised all sorts with Brexit.
'cause what's done it as well, people have had enough of the Tories, is because when Boris was telling us to be indoors and locked down, he was having parties and that, man.
Politicians I talk to are conscious of political decisions.
They're all criminals anyway.
In recent by-elections, it's been markedly low. Though, of course, by-elections are their own beast. On the election in July,
Let's get that Labour bloke in there.
how many people will go to the voting
He can't do a lot worse than
and what the
all of them Tories.
poll. The constituency boundaries are changing too, which could make a difference.
And at the end of the day, all the good things in the country,
A distrust of
NHS, all the benefit systems, all that sort of stuff,
a shared culture.
it was Labour that give you all that.
Reasons why many in the
Nigel Farage, he ain't too bad. I voted Brexit to leave, so I'm quite happy with that. But I'm from Kent, do you know what I mean? I'm right next to
polls, Preston Road,
France.
it's not clear whether Shield
But yeah, he's all right.
time around. Do you think you'll go back, vote again?
He's more sort of working class, where the Tories are just on another level. But they always have been. Rich Tories. Should be interesting though. Anybody that's not a Tory, it'd be good by me. And the word is that they're going to lose by that much of a majority. It's just going to be like Tony Blair. When Tony Blair swept into power, he completely obliterated them. And I've heard it's going that way again. So good. It's about time, isn't it? Telling us to stay indoors, and then they're all having parties, and then lying to the police and all that. Do you know what I mean? Boris was supposed to be like running the country. The sad thing about that was other countries look at him and think, oh yeah. Do you know what I mean? We're nothing like Boris. Or to be honest, the proper people, are nothing like the Tories. But I guess it depends where you're from, whether you're working class or whether you're middle class or whether you're whatever. Me, I'm just at the bottom, man, with all the rest of yous. You got them at the top. Oh, you got them at the top.
Oppositional correspondent Jessica Parker says it's the last thing the Tories need.
These allegations, they're allegations at this stage. The Amber Commission, we know, is looking into this.
I know all betting on the election. There's a betting scam going on. Do you know what I mean? Check the news. There's some kind of betting scandal that's been going on. Even when there's an election, the Tories are on the make. He's probably tipped off his pal, give him a big wedge of dough, and said put it on the election. It's going to be called next week, and it was.
Two people, including a 2-year-old child, are said to have been killed in a Ukrainian missile attack on Sevastopol in Crimea. Officials in the Russian-occupied city said 4 American...
Killing kids again now in Russia.
The warhead of a fifth had detonated in mid-air with fragments of cluster munitions falling on buildings. The community of Westminster in Lancashire has come together for a church service to show support for the family of a teenager who's been missing in Tenerife for almost a week.
Yeah, he's missing, mate, that lad.
To pray for Jay Slater this morning at West End Methodist Church.
There's no way he's alive unless he's
Since he called a friend on Monday,
hanging to life somewhere.
Switzerland says that ice loss on its glaciers
Yeah, I've met some of them.
has been less severe this year than
I used to go to the raves,
Swiss glaciological survey.
the Genesis ones,
Was greater snow
that my pal runs, Wayne,
measured on 14 glaciers.
and he had Colton Leach took over the doors. But I was in, basically them Essex boys met in Hollisley Bay in Suffolk in 95. Well, in 88 I was in there as a 17-year-old young offender. I spent my 18th birthday in there.
Hello and welcome to Garda's Question Time. Me, Peter Gibbs.
Basically in Suffolk,
We've been popping up on your watch.
it's where they send the Essex and the Kent lads.
1947. But that
But I didn't know that at the time. I was only 17. I didn't know where I was. It's all good. Been to a lot of parties in Essex.
Sitting right at the heart of this Northumberland part of town, the Abbey has a church. Viking Ray in 875, burning by the Scots Army in 1296, the monastery.
But no, I had no close dealings with any of them.
Church of Hexham and its refectory cafe garden.
And to be honest with you,
Cannons with herbs for medicinal and
if they was coming over to Kent doing mad stuff,
marks the 1,300
they'd just get wiped out, man.
anniversary of
Um,
beautiful building. Festivals, exhibitions, performances and celebrations will mark 1,000
crazy.
remarkable years in the life of Hexham and its people, including the Northern Saints Flower Festival.
That's what happens when the power goes to your head, man.
Stores of horticultural knowledge today are garden designers Bonnie Guinness and Matthew Wilson, and houseplant expert Anne Swinnerton, always inspired by herbs and plants.
I guess no one will ever know who killed it. Well, I would presume the people that went to jail
And coming up, as we're only a few miles,
did it.
couldn't come to Hexham without mentioning
Otherwise, the criminal underworld, after all these years, would have bubbled them up. The names would have come up.
still to come, but here in the ecclesiastical
And also,
nave of Hexham Abbey, who has
when Steele and Wilmes was arrested, they didn't utter a word until their court date. Well, I'm sorry, but if you just been sort of arrested for a horrific killing, you'll be talking, man. You'll be telling them where you was. So why didn't they? Why did they just sit there in silence? Doesn't make sense. Yeah. I do believe Darren Nichols, though, could have had a lot more to do with it. He could have even been there and witnessed it. Yeah, but or was it Nipper's dad? It was Nipper. And they've got to take your hat off to Nipper. Do you know what I mean? They tried treading on his toes, and he got the shooters out and went round there. That's what I would have done. Except I wouldn't have missed him. I'd have got him. But, and to be honest, they was, well, Pat Tate apparently was a half decent bloke before he got on all the gear. But I think Tucker's always been a bit of a strange one, like power freak. But they were just, you know what I mean, they were just roid heads. Anybody can stuff their face full of steroids and pump a few weights, man. Not that I've ever took steroids. Crazy. What's that noise going on, man? Sounds like the Chainsaw Massacre.
Bank that was close mow. We started doing no mow May in that particular area maybe 7 years ago.
Yeah, mate.
4 years ago we spotted our first orca.
Proper bully, apparently.
And now we have, wait for it,
Him and Bernie.
talking to them, they're all together in a little clump, and I keep talking and saying,
Bernie just thinks he's hard because he's got a tin of CS spray, and do you know what I mean? Take his tools off him, and let's see how he goes then. Take all the steroids out of them, then we'll see how they fare. To be honest, they ain't going to be that handy anyway, just because they're on steroids. A physically fit, unsteroided man should be able to weigh them right in. And they did get weighed in, I think, a few times. Another one to listen to is Big Lee Chapman. He's an honest sort of fella. What do I think about jungle music? I was quite into breakbeat and then jungle, but then not really into the drum and bass. When it went to drum and bass, it went a bit shit. Yeah, he did, didn't he? Yeah. I bet a few of them got it. Do you know what I mean? Because the clever people would have caught them one-on-one and gone, right, come on then. But obviously, they went around in gangs, you know what I mean? But Peckham, I'm from Kent. We got a Peckham near me, the next village called West Peckham, but I know the Peckham you're on about. I am Christian. I'm Church of England, which is a Christian church. Whereabouts in Kent? Near Tunbridge. A little village called Hadlows, not far from Maidstone.
plant it in there, and even if it was, you know, a foot below the surface of the deck, it will come up pretty fast. And give it lots of water, maybe once a week for the first month.
What is this shite?
And I'm putting big
It's all shite, man.
pots, taller than 3 or 4 meters. I'm going to try to make
Vegetable. Ain't too bad. By the sea, Herne Bay, that way. Nice, man. I'll be in that water. Yeah, I know all of Kent. It's nice out that way. I think it's nice out here. I'm right in the countryside.
Where's my man talking about inshallah? These times he don't even pray. Where's my man wearing a Jesus piece? How does he squeezing them jeans? Big behind a bed.
What's this channel's? This channel's a music channel. Two-tone. If you've ever heard of Madness, or the Specials, or Bad Manners, or the Selector. But yeah, I play a lot of vinyl. In fact, I've been in me sorting out my techniques. I collect records. My mum used to make records in the 50s. Into this, man.
Drink festival.
Terrible shame. Yeah, that's right. One day you can aspire. Tell me.
Oh right, in Herne Bay. Yeah, they're doing lots of tours at the minute. 1210s. Now I've got some real retro ones. I have. But I know what you're on about. I've used 1210s, 1200s, all sorts.
There's a couple of things. It could potentially be the wind because they are prone
Which one?
to being burnt by the wind in winter. That
Not Suggs, the main singer.
could also be, given that you're on clay soil, that the roots are rotting off in winter. It's
'Cause you've
very,
got
very easy to forget that they actually really like
Bad
being
Manners. He's from
water all year.
Margate.
They're ever
Buster Blood
so
Vessel.
transpiring,
Oh, Suggs, yeah.
water through
The lead singer.
all evergreen plants.
Yeah, you probably see me spinning a lot of Madness records on here. I've got probably about 15 albums.
What tends to happen with Tracheosperma, especially when the plants begin to
They're
water,
playing actually at Margate,
rain shadow everything.
Dreamland.
So it doesn't matter, it can absolutely chuck it down with rain, and that plant can get
Yeah, man.
no water at all.
Started in 1979. They did.
They'll die just like that.
Still going strong
I
now.
can't say definitively which of those three it is. It could be the wind, it could be clay soil, it could be lack of water. But if I would say it's worth trying again, planting in the most sheltered spot you have, improve the soil, don't forget to water in the winter.
Well, thank you very much. Better luck next time, Fiona. I hope it works. It's a wonderful plan.
So do I.
Thanks for your question.
Oh, the 80s, yeah, that was great for music.
And I live in Hexham, but I'm helping my son, daughter-in-law and my grandchildren create a new garden up in Gordley House. And
In fact, the 70s and the 80s was pretty
in the garden.
pretty
I'm
cool.
looking for plants to provide shaded
Oh
areas
yeah,
by their
you're right there, Jacob.
terrace and climbers. And can you recommend any plants that can make a picture of it?
Like we were talking about Madness,
Patio area,
like 40 odd years, they're still going strong. Let's see if a lot of these bands that are here now are still here in 40 years' time. I bet a lot of them ain't.
that could provide some shading.
90s, yeah, it was alright.
Sounds like tricky spot.
It would get all the salty winds coming. Absolutely.
It's often an untidy shrub, but you can grow it on one leg as a nice little tree. And it's registered as a silver. They're very pretty. It looks like an orange, but it's hardy.
Yeah, I am.
Hardy and fine. And it's very
No, I've got a Jackson.
areas, and it has
Michael Jackson, what have I got? I wouldn't mind off the wall,
the early aspect gives you
but
a tree
my solitary Michael Jack. Oh, saying that, I just I've got some Michael Jackson, the Jackson 5. I've also got Thriller, 12 inch. Yeah, I'm in the garden. There's my hat. I keep putting that the wrong way.
So what I would do, if I saw in a garden the other day, it's not big overspread homes, I know you said you didn't want
I'm in my garden.
willow ones, and they're put in willow ones at
Michael Jackson, eh?
angle,
That's a mad one.
300 mil centres, and then they
Waving that baby out the window.
that's living colour. They've done this to obscure oil tanks and
Oh yeah, in his prime, Jackson was just right up there. When he was doing all that moonwalking and all that stuff, that was just obviously too much drugs. Pink Floyd, another brick in the wall. We don't need no education. Do you remember the video for that? Them hammers. Yeah, man. Yeah, I've heard someone else say that, Dutchman, about Quincy Jones. It's the Russian. I wouldn't mind buying off the wall. I also like want to be starting something. That's a wicked tune.
Thank you very much. Thank you all. Thank you. Thanks a lot. And thanks for those answers, panel.
Yeah, you're right there. Smiley Culture, police officer.
Abby, very soon.
Yeah, I remember Smiley Culture, man. I remember all that. Man in the Mirror, yeah, I know that one. In fact, it's another Jackson album I've just thought I've got. What's it called? It's a double one. Yeah, they don't really care. That's on that album. There's me saying I ain't got no Jackson records. I've got 3 or 4.
But then, in late September last year, the tree was tragically felled. The destruction of the tree led to an outpouring of anger and sadness, and lots of unanswered questions. Well, earlier today,
Sad how he went, really, isn't it?
Rachel River and Kay Owen, and saw the remains of the tree.
He should still be banging out music now, really.
It's breezy up here, Peter, but then it always is breezy. Even on a still day, it's breezy. There's also a sense very much of something being missing.
Yeah, I think his old man was a bit of a
Sycamore Gap. You can't help but feel that.
wrong one,
I guess because the fold
should we say as well.
shape of the wall as it traverses
The land of
down
fantasy.
should really be punctuated by that magnificent.
What's that, the name of a tune?
Rachel, obviously a huge shock when this happened, and a shock that had far-reaching.
I know another tune.
Far beyond what you could imagine.
Bucks Fizz, Making Your Mind Up. Eurovision Song Contest winners.
And indeed international community realise this iconic
Cheryl, Mike something, Cheryl, what's her name?
emotional impact rippled out far and wide.
And they pulled their skirts off.
Endless emotional responses to it, not just here in our local Northumberland community, but further
Who we got
afield,
tonight? Scotland, isn't it?
social media, and through the outpouring
I see you was robbed in the football.
reactions to it since.
So tell me a bit about the history of the tree. How
Land of Make Believe.
also, at what
Dollar.
time did it suddenly become
Isn't it?
this sort of landscape phenomenon?
We believe the tree's been there for about 150 years. It could be a bit longer and planted by John Clayson.
Second
But
song.
we believe it to be deliberate, a design landscape feature, if you will, and one that has certainly.
It's really humid, isn't it, man?
Stage amongst visitors and hikers and outdoor enthusiasts who visit Northumberland and head coast routes along Hadrian's Wall.
Yeah, the Nolan sisters, man, yeah.
And was so well photographed over, certainly the last 2 decades. We at least have that, and there are some extraordinary photographs of,
But very big.
events with the sycamore in the foreground.
In Britain back in the day.
Incredible time-lapse photography.
On all the TV
The
shows.
Milky Way streaming past it. So, it's always going to live on in that form. But okay, there's also, of course, a living
Oh yeah, we've had some good
living on to the tree.
groups, man.
There's a lot of work
work going on with our countryside teams. Our rangers team, we're working in partnership with Northumberland National Park and Historic England. The response to nature is a big piece of work that's going on. What's next for the team?
I might buy a record this week.
Space for reflection.
I'm going to buy a tent and a record.
Space to come and
ABBA,
goodbyes or come and meet in that space.
Dancing Queen.
Then please just watch this space for what we're going to be
Now
doing
it's all
next.
trannies and that though, isn't it? And just weirdos. Am I allowed to say that?
And of course we've got the
Strange
One Year
ones.
Round, which will be approaching soon, so plenty happening locally with that too.
So the future
It's gone a bit downhill, isn't it?
and what do we think's gonna happen
I'm
to
sorry if I'm telling it like it is, but
50 seedlings and about 10 grass and
it used to be quality. You know what I mean? You're talking about Bucks Fizz in them days. It was quality then.
our genetic
Now it's just
tree that's
who's the weirdest, turn up and
they are effectively clones of
do your thing.
themselves and will hopefully have much of the same habits and growth patterns in the next 100 or so years.
I mean, I think
And to be honest,
tragic story.
none of them have got a patch on Boy George.
It is in many ways about the resilience of trees. You know, planting a tree is always an act of faith for the future, isn't it? You're not really doing it for today. You're doing it about the future. And when
Oh yeah,
150, 200 years ago, however long ago,
I suppose growing up with my dad, he
with the knowledge that it was for the future, not for
stepped out of a submarine, tell it like it is,
from that, I think.
which is the best way anyway.
Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves, did that tree the world of good and you know where it sits in the landscape. But
Obviously we're a bit more
wall is still
politically correct nowadays, or we're supposed to be, but
a tree will grow
I'm not.
again, and there will be a lovely iconic image again, I'm sure.
Back in my day, people said what they wanted, and if you didn't want to listen, you don't listen. Now everybody's offended.
K-O-N of the National Trust.
Benny Hill. Whenever you mention Benny Hill, I just have visions of women running around with their bazookas out, and that music. Do you remember that little old bloke who used to be in it?
Hexham Abbey. Hello, audience.
That used to be top TV though, like Saturday night.
Now, which of you has our next question, please?
Hi, Pat Searle, Hexham Abbey.
Back when we had 3 channels, man.
Tree growing project called Seeds for Trees. to
ITV, BBC One and BBC Two.
After 2 years,
Now we've got shitloads.
become part of the Woodland Creation Programme. Unfortunately,
Back when the boxing, the football, it was all just free.
kept on by
Sky TV hadn't taken over then.
will these regenerate?
Oh yeah,
I think they should do. They will take
everybody was,
because they're young.
that was just different then.
Tending for them, give them
Different mentality, different people. Do you know what I mean? Different,
and I think they should
different breed of people.
or send one at a funny angle. But you know, if when it grows in the time, I don't
I've got to
think it's hardly noticed the damage that took place earlier. I mean, when
get the stove on in a minute. Cook them burgers. Still got some burgers and sausages to cook.
they will go far faster and establish far quicker than any transplant even that you plant. You know, they naturally get their
Yeah, they.
down. Largely, I wouldn't be surprised if the roots are really quite developed at that stage, even though
Yeah, there's just lots of channels of shit nowadays. Whereas back in the day, it was quality.
into the ground proper and protect them, the better.
Flicking around channels because there's so much good stuff on. But no, it's just all bullshit.
So it will naturally regenerate, and often in a clump of bramble. So a bird might have gone and planted the acorn there.
And obviously now, a lot of media is obviously viewed with different devices and things. I've been on here 45 minutes.
rough time, and when you see a mast crop
Oh yeah.
hawthorns or whatever growing, and thousands together, and you think there are so many, but actually, you know, not many make it
Analog
to be a big.
is alive and kicking in my house.
It's very worthwhile saying, and if you can sow them
In fact,
direct into where they
in a minute I'm going to charge my phone and I'll go live again and
really gaining some
try and get me
because
decks
then
going.
it's so much faster.
Yes, if the tip has been taken
I've
out,
rewired some speakers in there.
manages
It's a brand new mixer.
establish some other nodes on the stem. I'm a little bit worried about where it's going to break from.
I've worked out what happened to that Dexys Midnight. Remember I told you? Did you see that video? I remember what happened now.
For a bud to develop in a leaf soil. So
I think I got some mad copyright,
I'd like to think
proper mad warning,
break from somewhere, but
which I don't get with
it might have to come really
the two-tone bands.
as it's emerged from the seed. So it's very interesting to see what it does.
In fact, I was looking for that chip last night.
Will it be turned?
I've got a memory stick, and that's what's on it.
planted trees
Just plug it straight in there.
while they're just establishing.
I
and,
did actually look for that. I've seen it somewhere.
like roses, then deer would definitely nibble at them. I've actually given up growing roses in the outer parts of the garden. I've moved them all inside a sort of tent
I think some
area,
bands
area, because deer will just nibble at things quite randomly, won't
are more tightly controlled than others. I'm not too sure.
1 month anyway.
All I'm certain about
I guess.
is your two-tone, your Madness, your specials and all that, and my mum's music. I'm not too sure on the rest. Saying that, right? UB40 and Dexys, because they're all from Birmingham, same as the Beat, they nearly ended up on two-tone.
Keep up the good work.
Thank you.
Thanks for your question. Let's take another.
Afternoon. I'm Jane Branson from Hex.
But they didn't think it was going to
Space for Nature
make any
is doing a
hits.
great job here in encouraging
How wrong were they?
friendly management
Launched Madness,
spaces.
launched the Selector, launched the Specials, Bad Man, all of them.
But what can I do?
He could have been doing Gino
My garden without it looking too wild. I'm thinking
on the two-tone label, scarring it up.
That I'd like to get colour into and something quite
Kevin Rowland,
Matthew, you can have relative formality
is that his name?
and texture, but yeah, they're not mutually
With his dungarees, man.
No, they're not. Key thing really, if you're trying to look at how your garden fits within a sort of wider picture, if you like, which is I think that's how
Speakers just fell over that.
the best thing you can try and do is to try and offer something in your garden that may not be available locally. If you've got room for a pond, make a pond. I had the good fortune to spend some time with Professor Chris Baines several years ago now, and his entire front garden, he's the person who wrote what is widely acknowledged to be the first wildlife garden. His entire front garden is a wildlife garden.
Yeah, I played for a few radio stations, but sometimes the politics is too much for me.
And I said to him, well, it's remarkable, it must attract absolutely everything. And he said, no, it doesn't actually, because I don't get the blackbirds and the saltwaters in my garden.
It's mad, isn't it?
Next door, where there's a short lawn.
It's getting really hot in here. Anyway, I'll be back, right, guys? I'll be back in about an hour. What's that concert in Holland? Is it rock or something, can it? Rock Plast or something? I've seen some immense concerts from there, UB40. That's Holland, isn't it? I'll just stay here while you answer me if you're still there. The Rock or something. I'm sure you're going to know it. Oh, right, Germany. I always thought that was Holland. Yeah, that's... I suppose all I really know in Holland is the football.
To that you could add a Sophor of Sun King.
It's only because we got Van Dijk as our player.
And it has really lovely sort of dangling golden coloured pea-like flowers. And to go through the rose, that's the climbing rose, you've got...
Yeah, I don't mind a bit of Bob Marley, man.
Clematis radiana. Fairly late flowering clematis, it would be in group 3.
This weather's so much better than the rain, man.
If you were going to prune it, you would prune it fairly early.
Get me new tent next week. Might take it out.
And they're fragrant as well.
Rock Plus, that's it. I think The Cure, I think they've all played there. I see UB40 at Wembley Arena on the Rat in Me Kitchen tour when I was about 15, 16. Unbelievable. Oh yeah, some of them German programs, you just get them late night over here.
And then I'll have plants like foxgloves.
Rapido, where was that? I went to a Rapido rave in London.
Lovely white flowers. So I've lots of ephemeral flowers to come and add.
Late
So
night
you've got the
TV viewing
here, you've got the
years ago.
you've got the tree and you've got the hedge, plus you've got the water. So in all that space, when you look out of your window, I reckon you'll see a lot going on. Thank you. Due to that thought there.
And a lot to remember, I know lots of plants mentioned there, but don't worry, it's all listed on the GPT website.
I think I'm going to have a hot drink.
Very glad to hear that. Thank you, Question. Now on to wildlife of a different sort. Keen listeners will know this programme was recently
Luxembourg.
Chelsea Flower Show, where all week we
Laser 558. Remember that?
on our GPT garden site, Red Pavilion. You'll be able to hear some of those questions and answers.
Radio Caroline.
But there was one garden site that kept coming up.
Yeah, I can remember in the 70s and that. Yeah, man, tuning the old dial. That was when radio was huge, man.
We were inundated with questions about
Huge.
Seems to be a bonanza year for them, yes? Yes, you get nods all round. Well, we recommend every defence in the gardener's arsenal to combat slips and snails, nematodes,
I can't be bothered to move.
deer traps, all coniferous
Don't bring it. Split out.
hedgehogs in your garden. Well, good luck.
Anyway, I'll be back in an hour. Have a good afternoon, everybody.